Hi, I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not worry about the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. In fact, if you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would already know that the title of tonight's show is Going for the Money. And the reason why you can be thinking about going for the money right now is because this is a rare time when there is strength in all of the four elements: fire, air, earth, and water. But the greatest strength has shifted from the fire signs to the earth signs. And that is because there are 4 planets in the very practical, hard-working earth signs. And that is because the sun, Mercury, and Mars are all in Taurus. Taurus is the traditional second ruler of the second house of how you make your money and what you spend it on. So Taurus rules investments, and it does rule the New York Stock Exchange, and it also rules the country of Germany and of Israel. And so Taurus is the sign that is called the good provider, and that is because it's ruled by Venus, the planet of love. So a Taurus does work very hard for the people they love and for the things that they love to own. It's a rather expensive sign. It rules gourmet food and fine art, and it rules commercial real estate, whole buildings instead of just homes. And as I said, it does rule the New York Stock Exchange. So you could be thinking about going for the money this week for a better job, or in order to pay your taxes, or to make some sort of good investment, because those 3 planets in Taurus are trining a 4th planet, Pluto in Capricorn. Pluto is retrograde right now. It's not quite as strong, but because Pluto and Mars are trining each other, and they are the rulers of Scorpio, it simply means you may be able to find financing right now for some sort of effort that you want to invest in. You could be wanting to start a business. You may be wanting to put away money for retirement. You may be wanting to make some sort of expensive investment that has good value to it. It could be really worth it. And if you need some sort of loan or grant or money coming from some other source, you may be able to get that right now. Or if you've got a high tax bill and you need to pay that off, you might be able to find additional funds around somewhere to do that as well. So this is a time when a lot of people can be focusing in on practical reality, on their budgets, and certainly on the things that they want to provide for their loved ones, or the cost of things right now. Mars is not at home in Taurus, though. It is a sign ruled by Venus. So when Mars is in a financial sign, it can stir things up. And a rare thing is happening right now. Right behind the sign of Taurus is the sign of Aries, where Uranus is. Uranus is at 17 degrees, and Mercury and Mars in Taurus are also at exactly 17 degrees. Those 3 planets are in perfect alignment. 2 of them are malefic planets, Uranus and Mars. So there could be, you may have to go for the money to cover some sort of investment that isn't quite all paid for yet, and that is because there can be volatility right now. Remember, Uranus rules sudden change, and Mars does rule over emotion, or it does rule greed and war. And so there could be behind the scenes some sort of sudden surprising setback. In other words, if we were talking in financial terms, a bubble could burst. And there may be a reason to go for more money simply because you need to sort of cover your bets or pay your bills right now. And that is a good reason to go for more money. There are also strength in the fire signs, but not as much. Uranus in Aries is trining Jupiter in Leo, and together those 2 planets are trining Saturn in Sagittarius, which also is retrograde right now. So a new beginning can be in doubt a little bit, and that can relate to the qualifications or the credentials of somebody who wants to make a new beginning. Perhaps they need a little bit more training. But also, this is an indication, since Jupiter is part of that grand trine, that people can be lucky right now. So you may be going for more money in a way that could be somewhat extravagant right now, or you could feel like taking a gamble. I wouldn't do that, though, because there are 4 planets in fixed signs. The 3 that are in Taurus are in a fixed sign, and they are all squaring Jupiter in Leo, which is also a fixed sign. This is not a week to argue about money. No one would win an argument in that, no matter what. So try not to get in a fight about money. Try to back off a little bit if you can. So there are 4 planets in the earth signs, there are 3 planets in the fire signs, and there are 2 wonderful planets in the water signs right now. And they are very strong. And that is because today the moon is in Cancer, which it rules. And so Cancer rules not only America and Canada, but it rules our families and our homes. And it does rule residential real estate. It rules very good food. It rules agriculture and anything coming from the ground. So it also rules mining. And it rules manual labor, and it rules unions and Congress as well. And those are all pretty well aspected right now, because the moon in Cancer is trining Neptune in Pisces, and Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. And so that simply means you may be able to make a dream come true right now, because Pisces does rule dreams. And those 2 planets are trining the sign of Scorpio, which does rule financing. And that is another indication you may be able to get some sort of financing right now if you're thinking of making a move or buying or selling a home. Because there is 1 planet in air signs, and it is Venus, which is in Gemini. And Gemini rules buying and selling, and Venus is a wonderful planet. You know, Gemini also rules communication and change and easy transitions, so all of those things are favored as well. So what we have right now is 8 planets that are in only 6 consecutive signs, and they're all going forward. So in 1/2 of your chart, you can really be making a lot of progress right now, and that is because Neptune is in Pisces, Uranus is in Aries, the Sun, Mercury, and Mars are in Taurus, Venus is in Gemini, the Moon is in Cancer, and Jupiter is in Leo. And all of those planets are going forward, which is wonderful. So you do have a lot to look forward to this week. However, you have to sort of watch out for a few things as well. And the main thing that you have to watch out for is that there can be some doubt that is persisting right now. And that doubt can be based on deception or the possibility of a betrayal. And that is because Venus in Gemini is being harshly squared by that Neptune in Pisces, which is so strong right now because it's fortified by the moon in Cancer. And so somebody could be only telling you what you want to hear and leaving out a few important facts that you'd better investigate before you sign a contract or agree to some sort of deal right now. And on top of that, that Venus in Gemini is being opposed by Saturn in Sagittarius. And when Venus and Saturn oppose or square each other, that can be an indication of betrayal. And so you do need to watch out for that as well. However, with Venus in Gemini sextiling that lucky Jupiter in Leo, love and luck are going together right now. And so I think all of us now can face a greater emphasis on going for the money, but it might be based on the people that you love and what their needs are instead. So we have to be very practical this week. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, for you, I think that you can still be wanting to get a new start underway, and it might be you that wants to go for the money because those 3 planets in Taurus are right ahead of your sun sign, Aries. And so one of them is Mars, your own ruler, which is exactly conjunct Mercury today. And so I think there can be a lot of talk or discussion about money. Perhaps you want to move. That could cost more money. Maybe you want to make a nice pricey investment right now. Well, then you might need more money for that, or to cover your taxes, which could be a little bit higher this year. And so I think that as long as you're concentrating on practical matters and you're not going overboard in any way, you can still get a new start off the ground. but you might really need to do that as well in order to sort of cover your bases. Maybe your credit is a little bit stretched right now, or maybe you just can see that something very pricey is finally come down to where you think you can afford it, and maybe you want to go for that. So as long as you're being real careful and checking the facts and reading the fine print before you sign a deal, I think that you can go forward and really go for that money right now. Particularly if you're motivated, you want to make a new start. The finances could be the reason why you want to do that, and I think that you could be successful at that because it's your own ruler, Mars, that is involved in these planets in Taurus right now. So give that a go. All right, what does it mean to Taurus? Well, Taurus, you certainly do have your mind on money, don't you, Taurus? You couldn't escape that now if you tried, because there are so many planets in your sign. The Sun, which is wonderful, but also Mercury and Mars are in your sign. Mars is not happy in your sign because it stirs things up. And right behind your sign is Uranus in Aries, and that means that even though yours is a steady, fixed financial sign, and you really like to have your hands on the money and know where everything is, and also you're quite willing to work very hard for it, still there can be an element of instability in the background of your life. Maybe it's somebody that you know who wants to make a new start and they suddenly break free and do it. Or it can simply be that some investment that you have is subject to volatile change right now, and that can sort of set you off. So I think you have to think more long-term, Taurus, and that is because Pluto in Capricorn, which rules retirement and pension plans, is trining your sun beautifully. So instead of covering your immediate bases, I wouldn't borrow right now, because if you borrow money, it costs to do that. That just increases your debt. If you could sell something right now, since Venus, your own ruler, is in Gemini, which rules buying and selling right ahead of your sun sign, you'd be better off. And if you can sell something, maybe you can pay down debt right now rather than borrow and still have some money left over for a new investment. So I think you're really going for the money right now, Taurus, and you should, but it should be in connection with your long-term security. That way you will be more successful. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, this is simply a time when you can be quite charming because Venus is in your sign, but you know, you could fall for a little blue sky right now, Gemini, and that would not be good. You need to check facts instead, because that Neptune in Pisces is squaring Venus in your own sign, which means that people are not telling you the whole truth, and that there are things going on behind the scenes that you don't know anything about because they're omitting necessary details that it would be helpful to know. And also Saturn is opposing Venus in your sign, which means some people can be doubting your skill level, and they may require that you get a little bit extra training right now, or they can be just simply withdrawing some of their support. I don't think you should worry about that. I think you should just keep it light right now. You do have a lot of planets right behind your sun sign, the Sun, Mercury, your own ruler, and Mars. And that means in the background of your life, you are probably very concerned with financial matters right now. It doesn't mean you're going broke, Gemini. It can mean that you are wanting to realign your financial resources. Maybe you're planning on making some sort of a change. And in order to go for the money, you have to first of all know where everything is and line things up a little bit. And you can be doing that and working quite hard at that right now without too many people realizing that. So I think that as long as you sort of keep a smile on your face and not fight with anybody about money, you can sort of coast through this week and go on your way toward your future anyway, without too many other people realizing what you're doing. So I would stick to business this week and don't believe everything that people are telling you, particularly if they're painting a rosy picture right now, because I'm not so sure that that is true anymore. There is, I think all of us are susceptible to some sudden surprising upset, which could be financial. And that's why you have to sort of cover your bases and know where everything is instead, Gemini, and pay attention to that. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, a Cancer, this is sure going to be your week. And the reason why is that the moon is in your sign today, Cancer, and it rules your sign, which is wonderful. So you can have your mind on home and family, and perhaps you want to redecorate or remodel or move completely, and you could be having your mind on the idea of buying and selling things, and that would be great, or even working with young people. And so that's just fine. But also, Cancer, you could make a dream come true. And the reason why is that the moon is so powerful in your sign, and it is trining another powerful planet, Neptune in Pisces, which does rule dreams. So if you had a creative idea that you really wanted to go for, I think that you would be able to afford it, and that you should go that way. In other words, it's not going to do any good to fight with people about money. No one's going to win a financial argument this week with 4 planets in fixed signs in harsh aspect. So instead, you need to investigate a dream, find out perhaps what costs are that are connected to it, because I think you can afford that. And even if all you're doing is investigating between now and June, you would be ready by this summer to go ahead and make that dream come true. And I'm sure you'll be successful then, because Saturn will be coming back into Scorpio and trining your sun along with Neptune. So concentrate on what your wishes are, Cancer, because there is a very good possibility they could come true now. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is a time when once again you can still feel lucky because Jupiter is in your sign and it's going direct. So it means that you can be wanting to sort of leap forward right now. I think you can be lucky too, Leo, as long as you're not extravagant. Oh, but your sign does rule extravagance. So you're going to have to be real careful not to overspend. And that is because the Sun, your own ruler, and Mercury and Mars in Taurus are all squaring your Sun. That can be overpowering for you. So if you are going to sort of jump off the deep end and go for something real expensive, even if you could get financing, that means debt, and you should not be going in debt right now, Leo. And the reason why is that by June, Saturn will come back into Scorpio and it will be squaring your Sun, and there may be some lingering debt from the past that could haunt you again this summer. And that is why you need to sort of try to keep your costs as low as you can and still try to make some sort of new beginning. Remember, there is a grand trine in fire signs. So you can do that as long as you're not overspending. Once again, I would still caution you to concentrate on something that is more long-term. It might take a longer time, 2 or 3 years, to accomplish a goal. But that could be a goal that could benefit you for the rest of your life. Saturn is trining your Sun right now. So think a little bit more long-term if you're going to go for the money right now, Leo, because it could enrich you for the rest of your life if you're careful. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a wonderful time for you, Virgo, and that is because yours is a practical earth sign, and your own ruler, Mercury, along with the Sun and Mars in Taurus, are all trining your Sun. That means there could be some good financial offers headed your way right now, or a promotion, or some sort of career step up, because Pluto in Capricorn is also trining your Sun. It is retrograde now, though, Virgo, and that simply means that you may have to do a little more to prove your worth. But yours is a hardworking sign that concentrates on details and accounting. And so this is a time when you really need to keep your nose to the grindstone, Virgo, which is going to be very rewarding for you. So you should be concentrating on financial assets, on career, and on long-term security, as well as improving your mental outlook and your health. So this can be a time of rapid advancement for you, as long as you stay focused on what's important, and that would be practical matters. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is a time when I think that as long as you sort of keep it light, you'll be all right. But if you decide to come up against anybody and be combative in any way, which is not your nature, yours is the sign of peace, then you can run into trouble. And that is because Uranus, which is a volatile planet in Aries, is opposing your Sun, and also Pluto, which is very strong in Capricorn, because it's being trined by all those planets in Taurus, is squaring your sun. And the moon in Cancer is also squaring your sun. So if you try to get into any kind of contention with anyone, you know, it's going to be very frustrating and challenging for you, and I don't think you'll make much headway. But since Venus in Gemini is trining your sun and Venus is your own ruler, as long as you sort of keep things light and keep a smile on your face and sort of settle for a little bit less or go for something that is temporary or short term, even just a short trip, you are going to do just fine. So you have to pick your battles, and if I were you, Libra, I wouldn't get in any battles this week. I can't see you winning them. And also, this isn't a time for that. This is a time to just sort of be a pal or be a friend or sort of be on the move a little bit. That could make you happy and certainly be creative. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, on the one hand, you really do have to think about going for the money because costs could be high and taxes could be high too. And that is because the Sun, Mercury, and Mars in Taurus are all opposing your sun sign, and Jupiter in Leo is squaring it. So there are 4 planets in fixed signs already, creating a standoff about money. In other words, if people decide to get in any kind of an argument about money, no one is going to win, and it can create additional animosity. So this is not the time to discuss financial affairs with anybody, Scorpio. And you don't need to even bother with that because you're under wonderful aspects to make a dream come true. And that is because Neptune in Pisces is trining your sun, and today the moon in Cancer is also trining your sun. So if you have an idea or a wish or a dream that is connected to home and family or to helping others in a healing way, you can be very successful at that. And you may not need anybody else's money. You may have enough money to start taking steps toward making a dream come true. So much to your surprise, I think you can do just fine on your own right now, Scorpio, and stay out of fights with other people who will be subject to sudden change, but I don't think you will be. That's why I think you should play it pretty quiet this week and go about your own business, particularly following a dream, because you could be astoundingly successful with that right now. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius, this is a time when you need to look before you leap. I know I've been saying that for a while, but your sign has Saturn in it, which is retrograde, and it used to be the only retrograde planet, but now, right ahead of your sign, Pluto is in Capricorn, and it too is retrograde. And so people can be changing their minds, and certainly management can be changing now. And as management changes, or the rules and regulations or policies change, that can affect you. So that is why you need to be a little bit careful right now. There's also the possibility that you can feel like going through some sort of betrayal, or someone else can betray you right now because Venus is opposing your sun sign and also Neptune is squaring it. That's why you shouldn't believe everything everyone is telling you, and if you're going to trust somebody, you should have them verify whatever they're saying before you really trust them. And that's why you need to be a little bit careful this week. You too could want to go for the money. You're certainly expected to succeed at going toward a new start, but I'm not so sure that's going to represent a lot of money right now. It can eventually. But if you want to make a new start, you could have somebody sort of lucky, a lucky friend that could help you with that. You just need to be a little bit careful and not trust too many people right now. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, you're really in the driver's seat because Pluto is in your sun sign and it is being trined beautifully by the Sun, Mercury, and Mars in Taurus. And so you could be thinking about going for the money, but because your sign rules long-term security, that's probably what you really have your mind on. And since Pluto is retrograde right now, I think that you are going back and rethinking or re-looking at the fine print that involves policies and rules and regulations that have to do with pension plans or even large entitlement programs that affect people who are going into retirement. It doesn't mean that you're old enough to retire yet, but it does mean that you probably got your mind on what's coming next. and it can involve money. And since it also could involve investments. And so I think that this is a week when you're really going to have your mind on money, investments, health, and long-term security. And that's exactly what you should be focusing on, because I think that's where the emphasis is, on realistic, practical, hard work. And you're very good at that, Capricorn, so keep your nose to the grindstone. It is going to pay off. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, you need to be really careful this week, and the reason why is that Mars, Mercury, and the Sun in Taurus are squaring your Sun, which means if you get into a fight about money, even just a discussion about money, you're going to lose, and you're going to lose big. And so there's no negotiation about money possible for you this week. And that is because Jupiter in Leo is also opposing your Sun at the same time, which means your luck could run out. And so something good could leave you. What do you need to do, Aquarius? Well, keep it light. And that is because Venus in Gemini is trining your Sun. So if somebody wants to hassle you about any kind of financial affair, try to keep it on a light level, or try to postpone something for a while, or try just not to get into any kind of rigid viewpoint, either listening to somebody else's rigid viewpoint or having one of your own, because it will get you nowhere. And in fact, it could possibly make you lose some advantage right now. And that is why if you just sort of keep it light and be breezy and fluctuate a little bit and not be sort of non-committal, I think you can get through the week all right. But if you want to fight about money, you are going to lose big, so I wouldn't do that. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is a wonderful week for you coming up, and that is because, yes, Neptune is in your sign, but it is being trined so beautifully by the moon in Cancer right now that I think that there is a wonderful opportunity for you to make a dream come true, or to have a wish come true. And the reason why is it can be aided by a family member, or your home life could change, or you could possibly be thinking about a move. Or it can simply be that there can be some extra money around right now that could help you make a dream come true. So concentrate on that, Pisces, because you have a gentle, creative nature that can help other people heal in one way or another, and that is certainly well aspected right now, so I hope that's what you're concentrating on. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show anytime you want and subscribe to it by going to our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.